of the sun is its energy in the form of heat and light. Then next is a localized aspect. That's like when the sun, you go out and it's sunny, then you search the sky and you come to see the sun. If it's not clouded, the sun is not covered. And you understand this. This is the source of the energy. And also when you continue studying, then you understand that this is not just something localized, but also has a lot of variety. Just like, actually the Sastras say that all the planets of the universe are populated. All these planets have different atmospheres. But we can't live with our present bodies in other atmospheres, just like we can't live under the water. Or when we go up in airplanes, there has to be, they have to stimulate the air, the pressure of the air, so we can survive. So there's many, many different conditions. So anyway, so coming back to the point of Brahma, Brahma was the first receptor of transcendental knowledge, Vedic knowledge. He compiled the Vedanta Sutra. He divided the Veda in four Vedas, 4 branches of Vedic knowledge. Then he compiled the Mahabharata with the Bhagavad Gita. And he also compiled the Puranas. There's 18 Puranas divided into 3 parts. One part recommended for person conditioned by the mode of ignorance, of tamoguna. Then there is persons dominated by the mode of passion. There are also 6 Puranas for these kind of people. And then there's also for the people in the mode of goodness, Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, Tamoguna. And there's another, at the end, Veda Srila under the guidance of his spiritual master, Narada Muni, who was a disciple of Brahma, he compiled the Vedanta Sutra. The Vedanta Sutra. Veda Anta. Veda refers to knowledge, and Anta is the conclusion of knowledge, the culmination of knowledge. And then he, under the guidance of his spiritual master, he gave a commentary to the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is very difficult to understand, because these are sutras. They're very compressed, compressed texts, very difficult to understand for ordinary persons. And then Narada Muni asked him to compile a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra in the form of the Mahapurana, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam actually is described as the ripened fruit on the tree of Vedic knowledge, most perfect. It reveals to us the most confidential part of Vedic knowledge, which is, according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. So our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, is that picture of Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada actually brought this Krishna consciousness, as he called this, for the first time to the West, under the order of his own spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's very nice. It is actually, there's a biography of Srila Prabhupada, and it informs us that when Prabhupada was young, he used to, well, first he was a member of the Gandhi movement, trying to liberate India from the basic dominion of the British. But at that time, there was a personality in Calcutta, in Bengal, in Calcutta, that had become very prominent in regards to spiritual subject matters. So Srila Prabhupada told us that he was always a leader amongst his friends. And so this person had become very, very known in this ambient. So the friends were very interested to know the opinion of Srila Prabhupada. So they took him to see this saintly person, and it says that when the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was having a discourse, he had a little meeting with people, and when they came in, he stopped speaking. And he looked at them and he said, you seem to be two young, intelligent, very educated persons. Please take the mission or the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the West, in the English language. And the first reaction that Prabhupada showed was, well, sorry, but I am of the opinion that we first have to liberate India from the dominion of the British, otherwise they will not take us very serious. And Bhaktisiddhanta immediately cut this argument. He said, actually, this knowledge transcends all these political and materialistic concepts. It's much more, it's more important than this. And so Prabhupada was very impressed because he wasn't used to be defeated by somebody. He was a very good talker, as he would say. So he kept this impression of this personality within his heart. And they asked him when he went back. They asked him, so what is your impression? So Prabhupada said, I think the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very good hands. So then Prabhupada, at that time he was married. He had a business. Anyway, so he had children, he had a wife. He had a status and has a society like that. But he was always thinking about this instruction that he received from his spiritual master. And then, as his children grew up, he was thinking more and more about it. And also his godbrothers, the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, were encouraging him to go and follow the orders of his spiritual master. So anyway, so then at one point, Prabhupada commented that first he translated the first volume, the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srila Prabhupada commented that actually these books are very important, and more books we can present, more our image will, increase, right? Increase. Because actually, these teachings are not created by anybody ordinary, like Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, or spiritual masters in our succession. Actually, it's a long succession. The Shastras say that this knowledge of bhakti, devotion, is coming to us through uninterrupted disciplic successions. The Shastras, the Vedas say that there's 4 traditions. There's the Brahma Sampradaya, there's the Sri Sampradaya, there's the Brahma Sampradaya, Lakshmi Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, and Rudra Sampradaya, Shiva Sampradaya. And these sampradayas, these lineages, these traditions, passing this knowledge through the ages, just like I mentioned, actually the Vedas gave us these scriptures in written form, like about 5,000 years back, at the beginning of this age of Kali. So Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada got the order of a spiritual master, he understood that I'd be a representative. I not create something new, invent something, but actually I'm an insignificant servant of my own spiritual master. That spiritual master is again, it feels like an insignificant servant of his spiritual master. So humility is a very important quality in our successions, in our disciplic successions. So Srila Prabhupada translated the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he got a ticket. He was given this ticket by somebody, and he was traveling by ship. He came to the west. Freighter was it? Freighter, not a passenger ship. Anyway, so he came on and on. And in the beginning, at the time of the British Empire, London was practically the center of the world. It was the most powerful land in the world. And by that time, from that time also, the English language became the international language, so to speak. So then in due course, Srila Prabhupada was watching that actually England was losing more and more of its importance. And the US, America, became the most powerful world on the planet. And he noticed also something very, well, it caught his attention, that the whole world was copying what the Americans were doing. Just like nowadays, we dress in jeans. These trousers also coming from America. They're actually worker pants of the lower class, workers. They come from a time when they would go to the forest and cut the trees, like the big trees, and they were using these jeans. That's where they come from. Anyway, so many things. And when I was young, the music was coming from America. All the fashions are coming from America. So Prabhupada was looking at this. Also in India. In India, they were also copying things from America, copying things, especially in the cities, not so much in the outside the cities. Even nowadays, when we go to India, we notice that outside of the big cities, there's a lot of tradition, there's a lot of culture remaining still in India. And actually, when Srila Prabhupada came, afterwards he went to America with some disciples from the West, and they organized pandals, big pandals, and thousands of people would come to participate in these programs. And Srila Prabhupada, on the basis of this, Srila Prabhupada used to comment that actually, the Indians, when you're born in India, actually Bhagavatam says this, when you're born in India, Bharatavarsha, this is a very pious birth. Because from the very beginning, you're exposed to this tradition, this culture. Culture based on God realization, not just in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Srila Prabhupada used to say, this is in animal propensities. The animals, they eat, sleep, have sex, and defend themselves. And Prabhupada used to say, modern advancement is just polishing the animalistic tendencies. That's our so-called advancement. But actually the Vedic concept is that Atato Paramajikyas. Ahora que nosotros hemos, después de tantos nacimientos y muertes, actually, Atato Paramajikyas. Now, after many, many births and deaths, finally we are born in a human body. The Bhagavatam, the Purana say there are 8,400,000 different species of life. Amongst these many, many forms of life, 400,000 are human forms. And the Shastras say amongst these human forms, not all are civilized. Actually, the smaller part is civilized. And the Vedas speak about civilized, it means that progressive civilization. That people become more aware. They reawaken their dormant spiritual consciousness within their heart. They reawaken their love for the Supreme Personage of Godhead by processes recommended in the Shastras. Today, yoga has become very prominent in the West. But actually, the Shastras say that yoga is a very extended process. Ashtanga yoga. There are 8 steps. What they teach today is just the first ones. Asana, pranayama, that's the postures and gymnastics more or less. But this is not the complete yoga process. In other ages, when people had more time, they were living up to 100,000 years. It says Valmiki Muni, he was a compiler of the Ramayana. He lived 60,000. He was practicing yoga for 60,000 years before he was empowered to compile the Ramayana. Anyway, so these, in the West, mostly people are interested only in, especially nowadays, only interested in polishing their animalistic, or their animal propensities. That's what our spiritual master used to say. But actually, the human form of life, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, means after so many births and deaths, finally we're blessed with the human body. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now we should start to inquire about Brahman, about what is beyond matter. Just like now, we have a material body. Material body. Made of earth, earth, water, fire, space, or air and space, 5 gross elements. Beyond these gross coverings, there's a subtle covering, mana, buddhi, ahankara, the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego, the false identification with the body, ahankara. There's a very nice verse in the Bhagavad Gita which says, just like as the embodied soul passes continuously from actually boyhood to youth and to old age. In the same way as we're passing to different bodies in this life, just like every 7 years more or less, actually we have a new body. This is medical understanding. Every 7 years more or less, by the cell renovation. Anyway. So we get body, like say somebody has 70 years, practice has changed over 10 years as well, 10 times as well. But there is a substance within the body that is different, that does not change, and that is the soul. The real personality is not the body. The body is compared in Bhagavad Gita to a vehicle, or a piece of cloth. We're changing our clothes, but we are not changing. Anyway, so, or you have a car, you're the driver, but the car is not your real identity, even though when you get a car, normally people identify very much with the car. Anyway, so the point is that it says that as the body continuously passes from childhood to youth to old age, in the same way, when death comes, we change simply to another body. And it says, the self-realized soul is not confused by these changes. Anyway, so the point is that we are not the body. This is a basic understanding that Krishna gives us in Bhagavad Gita. We're not this body, but we are spirit souls. And as such, we are eternal. And it says that as such, we are parts and parcel of the Supreme Soul. Just like the example, the nice example is given with the fire. The fire and the sparks. Sometimes we see when you sit in front of the fire, sometimes sparks start flying. And they also fire, they have the same exact qualities as a complete fire, but they're very, very tiny. And as soon as they jump from the fire, they become cooler and cooler and cooler. There's a nice example given there. These sparks sometimes fall on wet surfaces, and lose their fiery qualities. They fall on stones, like here we have underneath the carpets we have stone here. When they fall on the stone, they maintain their fiery qualities for some time. And suppose they fall on the carpet, or they fall on paper, or something like that, or dry glass, immediately the fire maintains its qualities and even increases. In the same way, the Shastras say that we are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of God. Just like we are persons, we are conscious. Our origin also has these qualities. Otherwise, where they come from? Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishvara Parama. It's the text of Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita says Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara refers to control. Controller? I say controller.
Controller.
Yeah, control. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara Parama. Parama. Parameshvara. So it means the supreme controller. It says Ishvara Parama Krishna, known as Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha. It means he has qualities different than our qualities. His body is not, like I mentioned, made of material elements, but it's Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means eternity. Chit, Satchit means knowledge. And Ananda, I say, what is blissfulness? Blissfulness. Yes. So, and Vigraha. Vigraha means just that we have a material form that rests on our spiritual form, on a subtle form. Yeah? That's like when you go to how you say, Shastra, what is that in English? To make a suit, I say go to a tailor. Go to a tailor. He makes a suit, and he takes measures, and then in the end the suit fits on your body because it's made exactly according to the measurements of the body. In the same way, our subtle body is the basis of the gross body, and the subtle body is based on the spiritual personality behind all these coverings, material coverings. Anyway, so we're coming back to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada came to the West and presented to us for the first time the Srimad Bhagavatam. He presented Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not that I would like it to be, or I think, or maybe my speculation is such and such. But like I mentioned before, this Vedic knowledge is passed down through the syllabic successions to come to our time. And as I mentioned, Prabhupada was coming as an ambassador, representative of this long tradition. And as a result, something happened, something very extraordinary. When in India, they have this concept that sannyasis should not travel, not cross oceans. They should live an imparted life, somewhere in a holy place or something like that. But Srila Prabhupada changed this. He came to the West. And when Prabhupada was present, when he presented his teachings or his books, something very extraordinary happened. Westerners became Vaishnavas, became devotees of the Supreme Personality of God, with all its symptoms, credentials, all its symptoms. Like for example, like you all know, especially those people that lived in India, they know that originally people, especially the higher class people, they would maintain, a very fine, very pure life, Brahminical life. They would not eat meat. They would not eat no onions and eggs and fish and all this. Food and the mode of ignorance. They would not have sex outside of marriage. They would not take any stimulation, something in English?
Intoxication.
Huh? Yeah, intoxication. And they would not waste time playing, and gambling. And this was very surprising, especially in the West. People were very surprised. For example, when I was a young man, we were leading a life completely uncontrolled. In the West, this was the fashion in the 60s and 70s, to revolt against whatever the older generation would teach us. Rejecting all these. There were years when many young people were rejecting the values of their parents and in search for some more profound form of life or philosophy. Anyway, so when Prabhupada came, this miracle was happening. That young people, especially young people, picked up the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, of chanting the holy names and following these principles like that. And they were actually advancing in spiritual life to the surprise of many others, outsiders. In the beginning, they would try to, they were accusing us of, they would say that if you become a vegetarian, you're not able to live. And in some places they would force us to take meat and all this. Of course, nowadays there's so many vegetarians and so many vegans and this and that. And so many people are doing yoga and all that, or studying holy books from India like that. Anyway, now, but at that time when Srila Prabhupada came, this was not the case. Anyway, so Srila Prabhupada not only taught us, he not only gave us books, but actually he was teaching us by his own example. He was a real acharya. Acharya in Sanskrit. Means the way you live, the way you show,
with the example.
Yeah, showing with your own example. So Srila Prabhupada was not the leader, our leader because he just imposed himself, but actually by his example. And he was traveling. He came at the advanced age of 70 years. He came to the West. Normally, when people get to that age, they're not interested in changing their life, creating something new, but they stay with their family, play with the kids, right, and the children and whatever, and not interested anymore in accepting the austerities like traveling. Anyway, so Prabhupada came at the advanced age of 70 years. He came to the West. And actually he was more active than his young disciples. For example, Prabhupada continued the translation of the Srimad Bhagavatam at night. He would work at night. He hardly slept. Actually, the Shastras, scriptures say, when you increase when you reawaken your spiritual consciousness, your material consciousness become diminished, right? And the necessities become diminished. There's a very nice verse. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Tadashashvayam Jnanam Chadayam. It says, when you worship Vasudeva, Vasudeva is another name of God. When you worship God as side products, I say, side products of your advancement in spiritual life, that you become detached. Detached from all these things are not necessary for your spiritual life. And you limit your necessities to the bare necessities. Prabhupada taught us, gave us a nice thing. He said, life should be simple and high thinking. Nowadays they don't give much for high thinking. And they expand their material life, all the necessities, all these things they use. There's so many anarthas, so many unnecessary things. Material consciousness pushes us to accept so many unnecessary things. And when you advance in spiritual life, you reduce and from a completely natural, not forcing yourself to the bare necessities. Anyway, so Srila Prabhupada taught us, he taught us this way of life. Very simple, very nice. And all over the world, the temples manifested, Hare Krishna temple manifested, where we're teaching this Vedic knowledge all over the place. Just like also here in Chile, we also have a temple here, Gaudanitai temple, where we worship Gaudanitai. The Shastras say that the same Krishna as he appeared about 5,000 years ago, reappeared about more than 500 years in Bengal. The Srimad Bhagavatam predicted Chaitanya, the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishnavanam Trisha Krishna Sangam Vastapashadam Jai Sankirtana Praya Janti Hisoresha. It says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it says that our Krishna, Krishna appeared again, like you might know, Krishna is darkish. Krishna is darkish. So anyway, so it says that Krishna would appear, and then our Krishna. Krishna, one meaning of Krishna is also dark. So then it says, but the Supreme Personality, Krishna, the same Krishna would appear, and in our Krishna form, no Buddha form. Actually, he appeared as in the golden form. Golden form. And then it says he would appear with his eternal associates. Like when Krishna appears, when God appears in the world, and he assumes different, he manifests different forms, but to comply with certain missions. For example, like I mentioned, we're living now in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is actually, from the spiritual point of, from the point of self-realization, is the worst place, the worst age, because people are very degenerated, and they tend to degenerate more and more and more and more. Anyway, so all these practices that were, the processes that were recommended in former ages, they're practically impossible nowadays. Like I mentioned, yoga. To practice yoga, actually to practice yoga as it is, and you need a long time. And it's very complicated, very difficult. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita the process of Ashtanga Yoga. And the first things he says, yam yam, is the first principle. That you have to be a cultured person. You cannot be a sensual person. I said that is, you have to you follow principles. Like I mentioned, for example, vegetarian, not taking drugs and all these things. Then it says, the practitioner of yoga has to go to a holy place, in the forest, alone, not surrounded by yoginis in bikinis. No, he has to go out in the forest, in the holy places, tirthas, and practice there. It's a completely different atmosphere. For example, here in Santiago, I'm sure there are many people here who practice yoga, but this is the wrong atmosphere. And in these places are dominated by the mode of passion and ignorance, tamaguna and rajaguna. Now you have to go to a place where the mode of goodness dominates, especially in India. There's so many tirthas, so many holy places where people take refuge to practice their spiritual disciplines in those places. And the first thing that Krishna says, if you practice yoga, you have to go alone. And you make your asana, make your seat a little elevated. You have to cover the seat with a deer skin or tiger skin. Then not to sit directly on the skin, you cover it with a cotton cloth, like that. And all these details have meaning. Prabhupada say, for example, when you cover the seat with a deer skin, reptiles and snakes and all these, also insects, they don't approach you. Then it says that you have to sit there and with the eyes half closed, half closed, and fixing your sight on the tip of the nose. That means like sitting like this. Why is this? Because when you close your eyes, the tendency you fall asleep. And when you keep your eyes wide open, especially when you're sitting out there in the jungle, there's so many distractions. You become distracted, so many things. Anyway, so the whole process is, the whole praxis is meant to take become free of all your external identifications. Just like when you have, the example is given, like you have an onion, and you take all the leaves, right, the coverings, one after the other, until you come to the central part, the central part. Just like, I'm not this body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intelligence, I'm not the ahankara, false ego, but I'm spirit soul. This is actually the practice and the goal of yoga. And not only that you actually realize, you start meditating on Paramatma within your heart. Vijaya Jayata Vishnu. This is actually the essence of yoga. That the goal is that you meditate on the presence of the super soul within your heart, which is sitting within your heart. It's your Upadashtananand. The Lord is sitting within the heart. It's accompanying us within the heart as Upadashtananand, as how I say, observer. How I say in English? The observer and permission giver. How I say, and sanctioner. He is a witness within your heart. And he knows your whole future. He observes from within the heart. That means you cannot hide anything from him. So he is registering everything you think, everything you do, and he gives you exactly what you deserve. He gives you your karma. There's vikarma, there's akarma, there's karma. Vikarma are sinful activities. Karma, actually it means you elevate yourself gradually. And there's akarma. Akarma, in Sanskrit, when there's an A in front of the word, it negates the meaning of it.
Without.
Yeah, without. Without karma. That means like this is actually spiritual activity. This akarma has the power to purify your heart, to get free of all these karmic reactions that are assembled within your heart. We have unlimited seeds of karma due to our previous activities, and it doesn't, and also it doesn't create karma. Very difficult, even to understand. The lay karma, I say, law of karma. It's a very important point, or part of the understanding of spiritual life. We have accumulated so many reactions within our heart, life after life, and we get exactly what we deserve. There's no injustice. There's no injustice. There's a perfect judge, the perfect witness within our heart, registering all, observing all activities, all our thoughts, and we get exactly what we deserve. So it's very difficult to become free from all this, become free from the karma, from our future destination, unless we revive our spiritual consciousness within the heart. And as I mentioned, in all the different ages, different processes will be continued. And for this age of Kali Yuga, the Vedic mantra says, Harinam, 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 Kevalam, Karavana, Steva, 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 Katina. That in this age, there's no other process, no other program than the chanting of the holy name, and the chanting of the chanting holy name. 3 times it says. And that means there's emphasis. Emphasis? There's emphasis. Because in this age, we are very unfortunate. Like I mentioned before, our life is short, our memory is diminishing, our life is shortening more and more. And also Dharma is getting lost. People are losing interest in following religious principles or transcendental principles. Materialism has become very prominent. And in other ages it was different. There were leaders, there were holy kings who were leading people. There were Rajashis. Raja is king, and Rishis, they were holy kings. And they were guarding their citizens from contamination. And I say, giving them all the possibilities to advance spiritually. Like a child, they were giving the example. They were not just talking, but they were actually leading people, properly. Properly. Anyway, so Prabhupada came, like I mentioned before, to bring us the Yuga Dharma, the Yuga Dharma, the process we commanded the Shastras of this age to purify our existence. And this opportunity, like I mentioned before, this is very rarely achieved. It is very difficult to get a human form of life. And this human form of life has that purpose. It is the only form where we can actually revive our spiritual consciousness. And we can solve our existential problems, like birth, death, old age and disease, by reviving our spiritual consciousness. When we become completely spiritual, Krishna conscious, like it says in the Bhagavad Gita, we don't have to come back again. We go back to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. Bhagavatam speaks from Vaikuntha. Kunta is anxiety. Like this is the place of anxiety. Whereas Vaikuntha is the abode where there's no anxiety. Where we revive our spiritual consciousness, we wake up from the spiritual dream and we become conscious of God again, and we are, serving God with love and devotion, and we are permitted to go back to the spiritual atmosphere, to Vaikuntha. So this is not so, it seems very difficult, but actually the process to revive our spiritual consciousness is very simple. So what can be more simple than singing? Sing. You don't have to be, you have to be ascete. How to say English, I don't know. To be, how to say, renunciate and all that. But actually you just have to chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is there any question or any comment? Say something. Huh? Any question or comment? Ah, you don't speak English.
Huh? I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned how when Krishna appears, he comes with his eternal associates. So somebody who's an eternal associate, because my understanding is Krishna is always exhibiting his pastimes in some planet in the material world, always. So someone who's an eternal associate like Arjuna, does he ever go back to the spiritual world, or he's eternally with Krishna exhibiting his pastimes?
He's an eternal associate. Like he came as Krishna, brother of Ram. Lakshmana. He came as Lakshmana. He also came as what is that? It was mentioned in the north of India, this place, Himalayas, this famous temple. Nara. Nara is also Arjuna. Okay, when Krishna comes, he's always accompanied by his eternal associates. And according to the mood that the Lord manifests, they are also in the same mood. Just like when Krishna came as eternal associate of Kshatriyas, because Krishna comes to protect the same, the pious people, and to, destroy the demonic personalities. Yeah. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he came as a Vaishnava. And his eternal associates, just like Ramananda Roy, is also a manifestation of Arjuna. Yeah. See, yes.
Hare Krishna.
I remember you asked a question last time also.
Hare Krishna,
Very good.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I still don't understand, or I don't remember, why do we actually celebrate Purushottam month? Why is it so important?
Yes, I actually wanted to read it, but I don't know if we have time.
Briefly?
Yeah, I have some very interesting text here about it. Can I read?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah? You still can maintain your attention?
Yes.
Okay. So on July 18th, the Purushottam month started. It is special month and very dear to Krishna. When the full moon occurs twice a month in less than 29 solar days, then the month is divided into two and a leap month is added. The leap month is known as Adhika Mas, a Purushottama month, and occurs about every 3 years. This year it started on the 18th of July and finishes on the 16th of August. It is equal to performing 16 Kartik Vratas, and therefore it is a very good time to engage in full devotional service. Yeah, very auspicious time. Once upon a time, by the arrangement of Providence, an extra month came to this world. Everyone took this month to be most inauspicious, Ka-mas, and even saw it as a stool-like month. Just as one should not touch stool, this month was also seen as untouchable. It was constantly unprotected and blasphemed, and rejected by everyone as an improper time for any religious and auspicious activities. Being so rejected by all human beings and constantly hearing about bad words and blasphemy, the personality of this extra month became very sad. She came to Vaikuntha to explain her sorrowful situation to the Lord. Seeing Lord Vishnu on his Singhasan, she fell down at his lotus feet in a mood of sorrow and grief. Tears were filling profusely from her eyes. She prayed to the Lord, "O ocean of mercy, I have come to you because I am helpless. I have been rejected and blasphemed by all people of the world. Please protect me. Please show me your mercy. Please don't be indifferent towards me." Saying these words, the extra months, Adhik Mas, continued crying in front of Lord Vishnu and sat down before him in a dejected mood. Seeing the humble and pitiable position of the extra months, Lord Vishnu became very merciful towards her. He told her, "Do not lament. I shall give you protection from all your miseries. Please stop crying. It is not proper to lament after taking shelter at my lotus feet." Being so consoled by the Lord, the extra man said, "O Lord, you know my painful condition. No one is in a more miserable situation in these 3 worlds than I. First of all other months, years, days, nights, directions, etc. are being protected by you, and so they are always moving fearlessly in their unique, charming moods. But I, an extra month, don't have any time. But I, an extra month, don't have any name, nor any protector, nor a husband to give me shelter. All the demigods and human beings have rejected me for any auspicious activities. For this reason, O Lord, I want to die immediately." O Narada, this extra month then repeatedly said, "I want to die, I want to die, I want to die." Then she fainted at the feet of the Lord. Being requested by Lord Vishnu, Garuda started fanning the extra month. And after some time she got up and began to speak again. "O Lord of the universe, I am in need of your shelter. Please protect me." Lord Vishnu told the extra months, "O child, please don't lament. Your misery will be finished very soon. Get up and come with me to Goloka Vrindavan, which is unattainable even to great yogis. Goloka is the abode of Lord Sri Krishna. Here Lord Sri Krishna is in his two-handed form, surrounded by gopis and enjoying his eternal pastimes. The Supreme Sri Krishna of Goloka will deliver you from all your miseries. Please come with me." Then Lord Vishnu took Malamasa, the extra months, to Goloka by catching her by the hand. From a distant place, Lord Vishnu and Malamasa observed the effulgence of Goloka. This dazzling effulgence automatically forced Malamasa to close her eyes. Therefore, keeping the extra months behind him, Lord Vishnu proceeded further until he reached the main gate. There the doorkeeper paid his respect to him. Having reached the supreme abode, Lord Vishnu met Sri Krishna, who was surrounded by many devoted gopis. Lord Vishnu, the husband of Ramadevi, paid his obeisances to Lord Sri Krishna. Then he made the extra months